are members of secret societies who summon demons and devils from the lower planes of the spirit world. The rituals of cults such as the Golden Dawn, World International Freemasonry, and the Knights Templar all originated with the teachings of the Kabbalah. We live in a democratic dictatorship. It is a dictatorship run by people who perform rituals. It is a dictatorship run by people who privately summon demons. That sounds difficult to believe, but it is the truth. This film exposes some of the highest secrets of the Kabbalah, Freemasonry, the Knights Templar, and the global network of secret societies loosely described as the Illuminati. These cults have perverted ancient rituals and now summon not just gods or angels, nor even just spirits of their ancestors, but these cults are summoning demons, and some believe they are even summoning the devil himself. By understanding the spirit world, we can understand the goal of magical ritual performed by the global network of secret societies, witch covens, Freemasons, and Kabbalists. The spirit world is every bit as real as the physical world which we inhabit. Magical ceremonies work like computer programs, repeating the names of spirits in particular orders, just like a computer language is actually a list of commands. These ancient rituals unlock the subconscious mind and open telepathic gateways to the spirit world. Throughout history, Freemasons, Knights Templars, Satanists, Magi, wizards, shamans, voodoo doctors, Kabbalists, monks, and even popes have engaged in magical ritual in order to contact the spirits of dead people, demons, and the elemental spiritual forces of nature which reside on the astral planes. Tibet, Ladakh, Bhutan, and India are places where special sexual magical rites are performed in order to please the spirits. This form of sexual magic is called Tantra, and it is the aim of the magician to seek communication with spirits at the point of orgasm. At Yale University, a Sikh perverted form of sex magic is performed by initiates of the Skull and Bones Secret Order, which has several senior politicians and presidents as its members. The Skull and Bones rituals have been filmed by undercover journalists, and apparently specially trained prostitutes are employed for initiation ceremonies. In the film The Good Shepherd, directed by Robert De Niro, we learn that Skull and Bones initiates, known as Bonesmen, are actually recruited from aristocratic families in America, who fill the top positions of power in the FBI, White House, and CIA. Aleister Crowley used sex magic to contact various spirits who had evil intentions towards mankind. In the 17th century, a scandal was exposed at the center of the aristocratic elite in Paris, where virgins were sexually used on altars, and at the point of orgasm, their throats were cut.
Creeping up your spine, lead us not into temptation. The sweaty murmurs of my rosary beads, the human hearts that I've taken into hell.
The Grimoire of the Red Dragon was originally a Hebrew text, and is often used by black magicians alongside another Jewish text called the First Grimoire Verum of Lucifer. In 1517, the Grimoire Verum was translated into Italian and then finally published in French by a mysterious publisher called Alibec, the Magician of Egypt. The first translation of the Verum Grimoire of Lucifer was by a Dominican Jesuit called Plangier. It has been a cherished source of demonic information amongst Jesuits since the time of the Alumbrados sect led by Ignatius Loyola, which inspired, in turn, Adam Weishaupt to form his Illuminati Masonic secret society in Bavaria during the 1700s. The Grimoire Verum includes many prayers directed towards Lucifer, and lists a hierarchy of demons which first appeared in a Kabbalistic text called the Mafteha Shelama, which in turn became known as the Book of Light. One of the most powerful techniques for summoning spirits is the sacred magic of Abra Melin, written by Abraham the Jew during the reign of Emperor Sigismund of Germany in 1377. The magical spells were given to Abraham the Jew by an Egyptian called Abra Melin. It gives instructions on how to consecrate a piece of vellum and write upon it the names of angelic planetary spirits. When these names are called out, spirits swarm into the magician's magic circle. This book has been banned in many countries due to catastrophic events which took place in England at the turn of the 20th century. One magician wrote to the Psychic News Journal that after writing on a piece of vellum following the instructions in the Grimoire of Abramelin, his house filled with tangible darkness so intense that it was necessary to light lamps in every room, even on sunny days. In 1927, the Society for Psychical Research received reports of a British magician who accidentally summoned an invisible spirit of such immense power that it eventually manifested itself in full view, taking the form of a devil with serpents for hair.
You robber of life. You author of pain. You corrupter of justice and innocence and youth. You begetter of death.
A roadmap of the spirit world is explained, which is based on the Kabbalistic tree of life. The book even describes the process of summoning the spirit of Lucifer, the devil himself. Other demons by the names of Astaroth and Beelzebub can also be summoned using this powerful text. In London, during the 1800s, seances were held at Horniman's Museum by members of the Golden Dawn secret society who adopted many of the techniques directly from the Abramelin text. Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula, and Aleister Crowley, the author of the Book of the Law, which in itself was dictated by spirits, both studied the sacred magic book of Abramelin.
Blood in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Magic.
Is one of the oldest grimoires and has only recently been translated into English. The Picatrix originates from Arabia. It is one of the primary sources of information about the spirits of planets, otherwise known as angels, and how to contact demons and devils. The Picatrix was translated into Latin in 1256 and studied by King Alfonso. The king eventually bequeathed a third of his kingdoms to the Knights Templar in exchange for bringing to him the Picatrix and other magical grimoires. It was the Picatrix and other magical grimoires which inspired the Knights Templar to launch expeditions and excavate the site of King Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. This quest became romanticized by Geoffrey of Monmouth in his medieval writings, which codenamed the collection of ancient magical teachings as the Holy Grail. The Picatrix was banned for many centuries because it not only shows you how to summon the spirit of a planet, but then goes on to show you how to implant this spirit into the head of a dead person, which is then animated using further magical spells. The head can then be questioned to give answers. Thus, the spirit of a planet can be summoned to speak through the head of a corpse. The Picatrix contains a recipe which includes the severed head of a freshly dead young man. This head would be placed in a glass vessel and pickled using a large quantity of human blood and several ounces of opium. The vessel would then be sealed and placed underground, and prayers recited to conjure a spirit to take up residence in the head of the corpse. These magically infused heads were prized possessions amongst the magicians employed by the royal elite of the Middle Ages. These heads became known as Baphomets. Often the head would be placed in ornate silver caskets, rather like religious relics, and questioned during elaborate magical ceremonies. During the heresy trials of the Knights Templar, initiates confessed that Baphomet heads were used to divine information at Templar strongholds in Paris, London, and in the south of France. The magical rites of the Templars inspired many future secret societies, many of which sought to harness the power of demons for political and financial gain. The Picatrix inspired further magical texts such as the Testament of Solomon, a sophisticated book of demonology which describes how to summon Beelzebul, who is a demonic prince of hell. According to ancient texts authored by King Solomon, when Beelzebul was questioned as to its demonic purpose, the demonic spirit replied, "I destroy kings. I ally myself with foreign tyrants. I set demons onto men. I inspire men of God to commit wicked sins, evil heresies and lawless deeds. I inspire men to commit murder and declare war upon each other.
I will destroy the world."
After the heresies of the Knights Templar were exposed, the Templars went underground and reformed themselves into World International Freemasonry. One of the secret passwords used in Freemasonry is Beelzebul. By the 1500s, the magical texts of Arabia and the Kabbalah were in the hands of magicians advising the royal court of England.